Now, after reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I bought the third game just for this review alone. Before buying the game, I saw multiple reviews of this game, and as far as I can see, this game has some pretty mixed opinions. Some people seem to have enjoyed the game, while other people seem to think it's a rushed cash grab. So after hearing both sides, I was already pretty skeptical of the game as enough. So naturally, I was pretty skeptical of the third game, and I became even more skeptical when I saw that the third game is actually smaller than the first game. Well, okay, that really shouldn't matter, so yeah, let's just look at the game. Alright, the premise of this game is the exact same as the last two, however, there's a little bit of a twist to it. Instead of being a security guard of a children's restaurant, you're a security guard working at a horror attraction in an amusement park that is based on the mysteries of the original restaurants. You know what, I kind of think this is a neat idea, you know, changing up the setting a little, you know, I like that. Also, the minigames from the second game make a return, but instead of having a chance of them appearing when you die, they appear in between each night. The only purpose of these things is to just reveal the events that took place between the first and this game. So you appear in the attraction and you get a call from a new phone guy that just sounds like a stereotypical stoner. Good thing after the second night though, he completely disappears and leaves you with old audio tapes featuring the old security guard from the first two games. And for some reason, the old security guard feels a little more calm this time around. So, in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, or should I really say 4 nights and a tutorial at Freddy's? Yeah, I mean the first night you don't even need to do anything. No animatronics or anything will come after you. You just listen to Mr. Stoner here tell you what you need to do. The first two games nights have tutorials, but at least some kind of gameplay was required to beat them. Which is kind of bad, because if you want to replay the game, you just want to skip night 1, because night 1's just completely pointless. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel that the nights in this game are a lot shorter than they are in the previous games. The first night being nothing but a tutorial may be reasonable enough, because some of the new mechanics this game introduces at first glance are pretty confusing. However, you do get used to them. You pretty much have to self-teach yourself these, because Mr. Stoner here only briefly tells you what to do. Out of the 4 fucking minutes he spends talking to you on the first night, you think there'd be some kind of better tutorial instead of just briefly glancing over everything you're supposed to do. All this just makes the first night fucking pointless. So as I said, this game introduces a few new mechanics to change up the gameplay a little. The most noticeable thing is the maintenance panel, which will reboot systems that go offline. Like for example, your camera, which is pretty self-explanatory. Keep them online, you can still use your camera to see things. The vents need to be online so that you don't see these freaky hallucinations of the old animatronics and stop the screen from going black and you suffocating or some shit. I really don't know what happens if you leave the vents lying off for a certain length of time. And then there's the audio, which is needed to lead the new animatronic Springtrap away from your office. Wait, wasn't that exact same mechanic in a fan-made FNAF game with Mickey Mouse characters or something? And you did not mishear me there. I said one animatronic, just one. Yeah, perhaps the biggest twist to the game is the fact that there's only one animatronic called Springtrap. There are other animatronics, however they're only hallucinations and they can't actually kill you, only jump scare you and break either the vents, the camera, or the audio. So that means Springtrap is the only character here that can actually kill you, so he's pretty much the main threat. The way you get rid of him is you use these audio buttons to try and lure him away from you, which is fine if it worked half the time. I mean, on the later nights, there's just certain times where I play an audio sound right next to Springtrap and he wouldn't fucking move, as if he just goes deaf whenever he feels like it. I don't think Springtrap's AI is 100% polished, and it kinda shows. And I have a feeling he has the ability to teleport. Why? Because there's certain times where he could be at the other side of the building, I get jump scared by a ghost animatronic, and then he's just right there in front of me. Wait, what? And once he's near your office, there's no way to get rid of him. You might as well just commit suicide. And occasionally he'll climb into an air vent, which you'll have to seal the air vent in order to stop him. I'd recommend if Springtrap happens to be standing anywhere near one of the vents, I would seal the vent he's closest to, in case I happen to be like rebooting a system or something, and he climbs into a vent while I'm rebooting. Now, as I stated previously, a bunch of the older characters return in the form of ghosts, or phantoms as this game puts them, and each one of them has their own way of functioning. And maybe consider myself lucky, but I never ran into very many of them. The only phantom animatronic that actually gave me a bit of bother was Foxy, seeing as he just seemed to pop up whenever the fuck he felt like it. Like with all the other ones, there's a way to counteract them, but Foxy, nah, he just shows up whenever he feels like it. Now, the biggest criticism I have for this game is that it's just too easy. I mean, after playing the second game and seeing how brutally difficult that game was, I mean, I shit you not, I beat the Nightmare mode on my first try. And I'm not just saying that, I'm dead fucking serious. It's kinda strange, because the first game had a decent amount of challenge, but it wasn't unfair. The second game, on the other hand, was so punishingly difficult that I felt like giving up whenever I was getting to night 6. Eventually I beat it though, so yeah. And then this game, it's a freaking cakewalk. During my first playthrough, I could only say I died about a total of 3 times. There's a part of me that thinks that this game was made only just to conclude the lore, which I'm not overly interested in the first place. But for those that are actually into the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, there's that. One thing I do like though is the design of Springtrap himself. He's freaky as shit. I mean, is that a dead body inside him? Overall, Five Nights at Freddy's is a very game. Then again, the entire series had 3 freaking games out in less than a year. So yeah, but still, if you're a fan of the series, then I say you'll like it. However, if you're like me and care more about the actual gameplay than the lore behind the gameplay, then I say give this one a miss. So that concludes my short little series of Five Nights at Freddy's reviews. And to be completely honest, these small sets of videos have been an experiment more than anything, just to see if you guys would like these kind of videos. And so far, it's proven to be successful. I mean, game reviews have been something I've been wanting to get into since I pretty much started this channel, really, but for some reason I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And to be completely fair, uploading the first part of the set of reviews, I was shitting myself in case you guys wouldn't like it. But it turns out you guys seem to like them a lot, so yeah, I'm definitely going to do some more of these. And just so you know, no, as of right now, I'm not taking suggestions for reviews. I'll review whatever game I'm in the mood of reviewing, so yeah. If you want to suggest anything to me, suggest me commentary material, please. So yeah, this is crazt, and I'll see you in whatever the hell I do next. See ya.